Have you ever witnessed a moment where life turned the tables so quickly, it felt like a movie scene playing out right in front of you? This story begins with a tired single dad, a judgmental CEO, and a flight that took an unexpected and terrifying turn. What happened at 35,000 feet not only humbled an arrogant man but reminded everyone on board of the true meaning of kindness, courage, and character. Because in just a few minutes, a man who was mocked for his worn-out sneakers and crying child would become the one person everyone desperately prayed could save them. Before we jump into this emotional journey, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment below. Share your thoughts at the end, because this story will touch your heart. And don't forget to support our channel, your channel name, for more inspiring true-to-life stories that remind us of what truly matters. Michael Thompson was used to doing everything on his own. As a 36-year-old single father, juggling work, bills, and raising his 5-year-old daughter Lily wasn't easy, but he did it with love. His wife, Emily, had passed away 2 years earlier after a battle with cancer, and since then, his world revolved around giving Lily the life she deserved. Today was a big day. Michael had saved for months to take Lily on her first airplane trip from Dallas to New York to visit Emily's parents. He wanted Lily to feel connected to her mom's side of the family. The two arrived at the airport early, Lily clutching her stuffed bunny while Michael held their worn backpack. He wasn't wealthy, he wasn't dressed fancy, just a simple t-shirt, jeans, and exhaustion written across his face. At the boarding gate stood a sharply dressed man in a perfectly tailored suit, expensive watch, and polished shoes. This was Ethan Blake, CEO of a multi-million-dollar tech company. He was on his phone, bragging loudly about landing a deal worth more than most people make in a lifetime. People glanced his way, but he didn't care. Attention was fuel to his ego. When boarding began, Ethan ended up sitting in the same row as Michael and Lily. Ethan's face twisted with annoyance as Lily excitedly looked out the window and hummed a little tune. Before the plane even left the gate, Ethan leaned toward Michael and whispered with sarcasm, "First time flying? Could have fooled me." He glanced at Michael's worn shoes. "You'd think people would dress a little better for travel. Some of us have standards." Michael forced a polite smile. "Yes, it's her first time. She's just excited." Ethan rolled his eyes. "If she cries the whole flight, I'll demand a seat change." Michael swallowed his embarrassment. He didn't want conflict. He just wanted to make this day special for his daughter. As the plane took off, Lily giggled with joy, pressing her nose to the window. "Daddy, the clouds look like cotton candy," she said. Michael smiled, soaking in the moment. But Ethan scoffed. "Some parents can't control their kids. This is why I avoid commercial flights." Michael's heart sank. He quietly handed Lily a coloring book and tried to keep her entertained. An older woman in the row ahead turned and smiled warmly at Lily, clearly charmed by her innocence, but Ethan remained irritated at everything. 2 hours into the flight, turbulence started shaking the plane. At first, it was mild, just a few bumps. The captain spoke over the intercom, his voice calm, "Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing some unexpected turbulence. Please remain seated." But within minutes, the turbulence intensified. The plane jolted violently, causing gasps and panic among passengers. Lily grabbed her father's arm, scared. Ethan's confident posture faded, and anxiety filled his face. Suddenly, the cabin lights flickered. Flight attendants rushed up and down the aisle, their expressions tight. Something wasn't right. Then came the announcement that turned fear into sheer terror. The captain's voice, no longer calm, echoed through the cabin, "If there is any former or current fighter pilot on board, please press your call button immediately. We have a critical system failure, and we may need assistance." A collective gasp swept the plane. People grabbed hands, prayed, cried. Ethan froze, his lips trembling. This can't be real," he whispered. Michael's heart pounded. Memories he had buried deep resurfaced, fast jets, military bases, catapult launches off aircraft carriers. Before life became about diapers and bedtime stories, Michael had served as a decorated U.S. Navy fighter pilot. But after Emily got sick, he left everything behind to care for his family. He hadn't flown in years, but the training, the instincts, were still part of him. He looked at Lily, the only reason he had walked away from the sky. With courage pushing away fear, Michael pressed his call button. A flight attendant rushed over. "Sir, were you the one who pressed?" Michael nodded. "I used to fly F/A-18 Super Hornets. U.S. Navy. Call sign, Hawk." Her eyes widened with relief. "Please come with me." As Michael unbuckled, Ethan grabbed his arm in disbelief. "Wait, you? You're a pilot? You look like, well, no offense, but you don't look like someone who's done anything impressive." Michael paused. "Sir, kindness costs nothing. I hope you remember that." He turned and followed the attendant. Inside the cockpit, the captain and co-pilot were sweating as alarms beeped relentlessly. One of the main systems had malfunctioned, making it difficult to stabilize the aircraft. They needed someone experienced with emergency aviation tactics. Michael slid into the jump seat, scanning the instruments like his hands remembered them yesterday. He gave calm, precise instructions, helping the pilots manually adjust controls to regain partial stability. His voice was steady, guiding them through maneuvers that only fighter pilots learned under intense pressure. Back in the cabin, passengers prayed, many unaware that the quiet single dad with the worn sneakers was fighting for their lives. Ethan sat shaking, replaying his earlier words, now feeling ashamed. After 20 tense minutes, the plane finally began descending safely toward the nearest airport. As the wheels touched down and the aircraft slowed, the cabin erupted with applause, tears, and cheers of overwhelming relief. The captain made an announcement, "Ladies and gentlemen, we are safely on the ground thanks to the calm and experienced guidance of a passenger, a former Navy fighter pilot. We owe him our gratitude." Passengers looked around, trying to see the hero. When Michael re-entered the cabin, Lily ran into his arms, crying with relief. People clapped, some stood, others thanked him one by one. The older woman who had smiled earlier hugged him. "You saved us, dear. You saved all of us." Ethan slowly approached, not with arrogance, but humility. His eyes were glassy, his voice soft. "Michael. I'm sorry. I judged you. I mocked you. And today, you're the reason I get to go home to my family." He swallowed, emotions choking his words. "Thank you, and I'm so sorry." Michael nodded kindly. "It's never too late to be kind. We all make mistakes." Ethan took out his business card and handed it to Michael. "I don't know what your situation is, but if you ever need a job with flexibility to care for your daughter, call me. You're the kind of person any company would be lucky to have." Michael smiled, not for the offer but for the change he saw in the man's heart. Later, as Michael and Lily exited the plane, the captain stopped them. "Hawk," he said with respect, "if you ever want to return to the skies, we'd welcome you with honor." Michael looked down at Lily, who held his hand tightly. "Thank you, Captain," he replied. "But right now, this is the sky I belong to." The captain nodded, understanding completely. Outside the airport, Ethan approached once more. He kneeled to Lily's height. "Young lady, your daddy is a real-life superhero. Make sure you remind him of that every day." Lily grinned. "I already do." As Michael watched Ethan walk away, he saw a changed man not defined by wealth, but by humility learned at 35,000 feet. Life has a way of reminding us that titles, money, and appearance don't define a person's worth. Kindness, compassion, and character do. The man who looked ordinary turned out to be extraordinary, and the man who acted superior learned to be human. The lesson? Never judge someone based on what you see. Everyone is fighting battles, carrying stories, and holding strengths you may know nothing about. And sometimes, the greatest heroes are the ones who walk among us quietly until life calls on them to rise. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to be reminded of the power of kindness. And remember, a little kindness can change someone's day. A lot of kindness can change someone's life.